Hey guys, Mark here, back with another week of Musings. And this week I want to talk a little bit about, you know, as always, these talks are kind of inspired by kind of whatever's kind of coming up in my life and whatever's going on. I don't plan these. I don't have notes or bullet points or anything. I just kind of hit record and go with whatever comes. But this week, my grandmother passed away. Actually, yesterday she passed away back home in Texas, 95 years old. And her passing, hasn't had a massive effect on me. I mean, I'm sad for the death. I'm happy for her release. I'm concerned about my mother and making sure that she's okay. And I spoke with her on the phone earlier, and she's been okay with it for a while. So it wasn't an unexpected happening. But what what what's kind of carried me through this journey and why this is important to me is because I've been doing a lot of personal work, and some of it has been inspired by a book that I read a few weeks ago called Retiring Your Family Karma. And it was another one of those books that kind of just came my way by complete accident. I was at a friend's house in Pi, and the book was on the bookshelf, and it just happened to be kind of like sticking out a little bit, and it caught my attention. I was like, "Oh, what's this book?" And then I took it home and read it, and I found it to be absolutely profound and useful. And it talks about how a lot of us are kind of unconsciously repeating the patterns of our family, repeating the patterns of our mothers and fathers, and so on. And really got me to thinking. And some of the examples in the book, there's a famous example of the Kennedy family in the United States, the American political family, who have had a number of horrific deaths, and it's like this curse following the family. But the book explains that there's not really a curse per se, but there's some intergenerational trauma and energy that's hasn't really been fully carried out, or maybe it is being carried out generationally. But for me, I started to kind of analyze and think about, what kind of things am I repeating that my parents did, or so on. And it was kind of alarming. One thing is that my father left me and my mother when I was a child, and he went off to kind of do his own thing, and I didn't hear much from him. And I've kind of had a similar situation with my own children, where I haven't spoken to them in 4 years, or seen or heard from them in 4 years. And yeah, that's just one example. Another example is that my family lives in Texas, and for several generations have operated a trucking company. And when I was younger, I was involved in the trucking company. Not on a high level, but just driving the trucks and working for the company. And I had the opportunity at one point to stay there and work in the family business. And it's just these opportunities that keep us in these cycles. They're not necessarily negative or harmful or anything, but it's about becoming aware of them, and then reflecting and saying, am I making conscious choices for the path that I wish to be on, or am I acting out the cycles and the patterns of which I was brought up in, that I was raised in, and am I just carrying those forward again? And so, now that I'm 40, I think I probably spent the first half of my life just carrying out those patterns. And what I'm doing now is I'm analyzing those patterns, and I'm looking for opportunities for growth and for change and for renewal. And so I've made some specific goals. I've done some specific things to kind of to change that path. And one of those things that I've done is I started to kind of just reach out to family members of which that I've been estranged from for a long time. For example, my uncle, whom I also hadn't talked to in 4 or 5 years, I kind of just reached out to him on email, and we started talking. And he invited me to attend a Bible study group that he does every week. And that Bible study group was yesterday morning, and I attended it. Um, and during that Bible study group, it was the first time that him and I had kind of, seen each other face to face, even though it was on Zoom. But during that meeting, we had a prayer for my grandmother, and then that same evening, she passed. And so it was just for me, it was a strong indicator that this really means something. There is family karma, that we're all connected in certain ways. And now that I'm trying to clear that for myself and trying to make decisions and move intention and energy towards positive areas in my life instead of repeating things, I think I'm opening up um, new opportunities for growth and for me to reconnect. And so I've reached out to some other family members, and whether or not I'll receive any feedback or if I'll receive a response from that is yet to be told or yet to be seen. But all I can really do is just open myself up so that that communication can happen. I can't force anyone to communicate with me or to reciprocate. I can only be open with my heart and open with my intention. And that's really the best you can do when you're thinking about family karma. So I encourage you to kind of reflect on, your current life situation, and then look at your parents and say, were they in a similar situation? Were the grandparents in a similar situation? If you're available to reflect on that kind of thing, and then think for yourself and say, am I making the choices that I'm currently making because of my own true will, or am I, following patterns, and am I repeating what I was taught, or what my culture has taught me, or what my parents have taught me, or what I learned in school, or what has just become the normal way of living? And if any of those things don't really ring true with you, well, then you can redirect it, and you can start to take action to change that road that you're on. And yeah, I'll have to keep you all updated on how that goes, because I'm very fresh in this journey. I just read the book, and I'm just kind of putting some things into action. But it does require action. It requires you to be open and honest, and it requires you to actually take that step and reach out and connect with people and tell them what's on your mind, or to allow space and opportunity for new things to emerge with your family members. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can probably look up some more information about family karma. And the book that I read is called Retire Your Family Karma. And you don't necessarily need to even believe in karma to be affected by this. The way that I kind of understand it is that regardless of your belief in karma, there is cause and effect in our lives, and there are patterns that we learn as children, and we kind of repeat those patterns unconsciously. So that's probably where we can more closely look at and evaluate the circumstances of our life. So I've rambled on enough. I think that'll be enough for today. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you all next week. Cheers.